Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. I just finished watching Hell's Kitchen Season 23 Episode 7, and if I had to give the episode a rating, it would be a solid 8. Tonight's episode was one of the best episodes of Hell's Kitchen this season. I enjoyed the growth of some of the chefs that were featured on the episode. There was also a shocking elimination, and I enjoyed seeing the Hell's Kitchen process expose which chefs are contenders and pretenders. Now, over the course of the review, I will share my thoughts on the 4 highlights for the episode, the elimination, and I will share my list for which chefs deserve to be in the black jacket round and which chefs stand the best chance of getting eliminated. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. The first highlight that I want to talk about was the first scene with Megan and Britney. We first see them as they're coming off last week's elimination, and they're discussing how both of them shouldn't have been nominated and how they need to show their team that they mean business. Now, I can agree that both Britney and Megan didn't need to be nominated for last week's elimination. However, I still stand by my initial thoughts that Megan and Magali should have been up for elimination because their mistakes and lack of action led to the red team getting kicked out of the kitchen. But I know that Megan would have been spared from elimination while Magali wouldn't have had a leg to stand on. So I don't understand why Megan and Britney felt some sort of way about being up for elimination. Taking accountability and learning from one's mistakes goes a long way in Hell's Kitchen. But as I said before, Britney is working on borrowed time. The second highlight that I want to talk about is this episode's challenge. In the challenge, the chefs from both teams have a cook-off in which they have to cook a steak dish with 4 other ingredients, and they have to make a composed dish out of their selections. In this challenge, most of the chefs did pretty well. Gordon only had issues with Lulu's dish due to her potato portions, and Hannah made a huge mistake rolling her rib cap steak. The competition came down to a tie, and the tie-breaking dish was given to Egypt. To me, this is significant because it solidifies the notion that Egypt is a huge threat in the competition, and he puts out great food in these challenges. Now, this win for the blue team also helped Egypt get even closer with his team and earn his teammates' respect. The third highlight for the episode was Hannah's near elimination. In this episode, we learned that Hannah's husband committed suicide a few years ago, and the thought of the tragedy was weighing heavily on her mind. In last week's previews for the episode, there was a hint that Hannah might self-eliminate from tonight's episode, but as I predicted, Hannah did not self-eliminate. And after receiving a little bit of support, she was back and ready to help her team complete one of the easiest punishments that Gordon has made the losing team complete this season. Now, the final highlight for the episode would be tonight's dinner service. The dinner service carried the same momentum that we saw from last week's dinner service. The blue team was in sync for the majority of the dinner service. They have mastered the art of communicating with one another. The only chef that really had issues with their service on this team was Lulu, because she has a tendency of slowing the team down. But as I stated last week, it seems like Lulu has gone as far as she can go in the Hell's Kitchen process, and she is working on borrowed time. But the red team had a host of issues during tonight's dinner service. Hannah and Amanda had a few issues with their dishes. Megan had some mistakes of her own due to her insistence on micromanaging everybody else's dish. And it seems like Anne-Marie requires constant supervision, which makes me think that she has no business being in Hell's Kitchen to begin with. But towards the end of the dinner service, both teams have 2 tables remaining, and Gordon tells the chefs that the first team to complete their dinner service wins. Now, unless this episode was heavily edited, it seems like the red team committed far more mistakes than the blue team, and the blue team should have won on that alone. But as both teams work to finish the dinner service, Amanda serves raw veal chop, which cost her team the win. After dinner service, Gordon tells the red team to choose 2 people up for elimination, and he tasks the chefs with fighting for their position on the show. So let's talk about this elimination scene. The red team nominates Anne-Marie and Megan for elimination. Now, an argument can be made that Amanda or Hannah could have been up for elimination, but if we're going strictly by which chefs deserve to be nominated for elimination, then I would stick with Anne-Marie and Megan. Anne-Marie needed hand-holding throughout dinner service, and Megan not only served raw salmon, but she allowed Amanda to serve raw veal chop. When it was all said and done, Anne-Marie was spared while Megan was eliminated. The episode ends with Gordon telling the chefs that he's looking for a leader and that they need to step their game up. I know that Megan's departure was a little shocking this early on, but in my opinion, Gordon likely knew that Megan didn't have the leadership skills that he was looking for, Megan's elimination reminds me of Melissa's elimination from last season. Both were very talented chefs, but Gordon saw something in both of them that he didn't like from a leadership standpoint, and that was enough to give them the boot. But with Megan's departure, if leadership skills are now factoring into which chefs stay and which chefs go, I think it's easier to predict which chefs will make it to the Black Jacket round and which chefs are working on borrowed time. The chefs that are my favorites to make it to the Black Jacket round are Whit, Egypt, Anthony, Kyle, Amanda, and Brandon. While the chefs that have the best chance of elimination are Lulu, Britney, Hannah, Joe, and Anne-Marie. When it comes to the next chef that might get eliminated from the show, I think that the red team continues to unravel, and it'll be Anne-Marie or Britney. But this marks the end of my review. Feel free to leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.